Kristen. So good to see you. And thank you so much for being willing to share your story. I think people will really benefit from hearing from you. And I'd love it if you could introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you. My name is Kristen Sands. I am a marketer um, by trade and experience, specifically integrated marketing strategy, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And tell me what was going on for you before we started our work together.
I had been laid off from my position probably 4 months before I started working with you. And I had been at my former employer for 10 years. Had just passed my 10-year anniversary when I was laid off. So at 4 months unemployment, I was starting to feel a little panicked. Wasn't getting a lot of traction, wasn't I was doing a lot, but nothing was nothing was happening. So it was definitely a high anxiety period of time for me.
Yeah, yeah, I can only imagine. What do you think changed once we started working together?
Yes, it was so so immensely relieving and helpful. I think the first thing was getting focused on the more specifics and more structure around what did I want to be doing in my next job? What was that title? What was the kind of work? What was the place? I had kind of been doing the shotgun approach up to then, just hundreds of applications, just everything I thought I could do that, I could do that, I could do this. Maybe not want to, but could. So getting tight on the focus, the position I really wanted to be looking for. And then from there, just the steps that you took me through with, okay, now that we've isolated what's the target role, now how do we tailor the resume to, all the things that I knew I could do weren't necessarily coming across in the resume. So making that more attractive, tailoring my LinkedIn. I hadn't been on LinkedIn in 10 years. I didn't, you know, prior to the internet being discovered. So it was very, very helpful to then set up all the pieces that go into being visible to the right recruiters, the right people. And then the additional help with, okay, now that I'm starting to get some traction activity, how do I want to talk about my experience and background? And how do, even going into the interview, it's like, what do you want to keep in mind as you're having conversations with people? So it just helped crystallize sort of an action plan towards getting hired versus before I was just winging it. I was just living on LinkedIn and, sending out applications and nothing was happening. So it felt
Mm,
very constructive and very action oriented, which is what I love. So
awesome, awesome. And what were the results that you achieved?
I start my new job on Monday.
Yay! So exciting.
Yes. I mean, and not just I'm starting a new job, because clearly that was the objective, but it is somewhere I am excited about. It is the right environment. I'm really excited about the work versus, okay, yay, it's a job. We'll see how long I can, muddle through. So it's fantastic. It's great.
Mm. I just got chills as you said that because, when you're in that situation after a layoff and having been looking for quite a while, right, it's very tempting to just grab the first thing that comes along, right? And so it's exciting that you're able to have the role that you really want, right? And tell us more about what that role is, your title, and what makes you excited about it.
So I am going to be the head of marketing analytics and optimization for a print production company here in Dallas. Um, I'm excited because it is right up my alley with a combination of marketing strategy meeting analytics and, tinkering with number and data to figure out an action to drive that strategy, right? And
Yeah.
getting to provide that to a sales team or to clients to say, hey, here are some changes that we can make to make things even better for you. That's what I love to do. So I get to go in there and, do Excel and make some PowerPoints, and it's all the things I geek out about doing. So it's a perfect fit for the stuff that I enjoy doing in my job.
Oh, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
what do you think would have happened if we hadn't worked together?
I will say I was at the point where I knew what I was doing wasn't working, didn't really know what else to do. And that coupled with just, kind of the confidence hit that a layoff, especially after so long with that company, the confidence hit that was for me. I mean, I was at the point, honestly, where I was like, well, you know, clearly I'm not as good a hire as I thought I was. Maybe I
Mm.
should be looking at lower levels. Maybe I should be lowering my salary requirement. Maybe, right? I was getting to that point where I was like, well, nobody wants to hire me doing what I think I'm best at. I guess I'm not that good at it. Maybe I'm just being too picky. Maybe I'm just right.
Yeah.
So I was very much potentially heading towards, all right, I can do this. It's not enough money. I'll just figure it out later. We'll, you know, just get my foot in the door anywhere I can, and future Kristen will figure it out in 2 years. So glad that doesn't have to be the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people end up having to do that or feeling like they had to do that, right? So for you, you were able to get the level that you wanted, the compensation that you wanted, right?
Yes.
And, I calculated from our first time, the first day, our first session together, till when you got your offer, and it was 51 days. Yes.
And
In the
I
middle of
spent a
summer.
right.
Yeah.
I spent a whole lot longer than that prior to talking to you. Um, yeah, and I will say too, is something that was immensely helpful is I feel like our first conversation, I was just kind of like, oh, help. You being able to offer me like, hey, these are things that are kind of expected for the market or for a job seeker in this stage, or, you know, it just kind of helping me to understand that it's not all me, right? It's not necessarily you're doing everything wrong. There are some things that are just kind of ebb and flow with a job search. So that was comforting and let me focus on, all right, well, we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep moving versus you completely messed up your opportunity for a new job.
Exactly. Yes, working on the things that you could control, right? And it turns out
Mm-hmm.
that there was a lot that you could control, that you could,
Mm-hmm.
position things in your favor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Things
Nice.
I'd never thought of. Didn't know they were a thing.
Were there some results that were unexpected that surprised you?
Um, I I mean, the result of getting hired quickly was definitely like, phew, I was
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a while. I was getting real close to the like, now I really need to panic stage. Um, I was really impressed and interested with, again, just the tweaks to the LinkedIn resume or the LinkedIn profile,
Profile.
and some of the adjustments that you had me make. The fact that you helped me, through your process and working the program, really being able to key in on the job that I wanted, right? Looking at all those job descriptions and putting those together to understand like what are the common themes, and then being able to tie that directly back to my resume, uh, like was mind-blowingly effective, because before it was like, here's all the things I've ever done and a whole lot of resume words. This was very structured, very specific, right?
Yeah.
Very, very, very effective. Yeah, that Not that I ever want to go through this process again, but I am so much better equipped with this experience behind me to, you know, to get back out there faster than I was
Yeah,
before working with you.
that's one of the greatest things about it, is that you learn how to do it for yourself if you ever needed to do it again. And hopefully you won't, right? But if you did, I mean, now you know
Mhm.
what to do for sure. Um, what would you tell somebody who's considering investing in working with me in my program?
It was hands down the smartest investment I have made. Um,
Mm,
Especially considering, unless you are often job seeking, there are so many things that just somebody coming in it new, you just don't know. And you can read LinkedIn and you can read all the, the Google articles and things. Having a live human to work with you and to literally to coach it, right? Like, you got to know me and the things that were, kind of blockers for me and I didn't like doing and could encourage me and, to get it done. If you are, there gets a point where you just can't do it yourself. And especially considering whatever salary level you may be, it will pay for itself, right?
exactly.
Like, so yes, absolutely cannot say enough good things. It was best investment I could have made. I'm
No.
immensely grateful.
No, thank you so much for saying that, Kristen. It's just one of those things, like we all have, and I say this all the time, we all have blind spots, right? We can Google things and we can search things online, but they're not usually adapted to our individual situation and our individual struggles, right? So that's the beauty of having that one-on-one opportunity, so that we can really discover what it is exactly that we're struggling with, that we need to overcome to be able to get our goal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I know a lot of people will appreciate that, and we'll learn from your experience. And congratulations again on securing that amazing role. I could not be
Thank
more
you.
excited for you.
I'm thrilled and I am so grateful to you. Thank you for all of your help and support.
Yeah. Well, you've been a joy to work with.